buwan na ang nakaraan nang pansamantala munang inihinto ang lahat ng sporting events sa Pilipinas. Pero syempre, di maikakaila, ang basketball ang pinaka-na-miss ng mga Pilipino. Pero nahinto man ang mga laro. Nakagawa pa rin ang paraan ng basketball para maging sentro ng usapin kahit na ngayong panahon ng pandemya. At para talakayan at magbigay ng kanilang mga opinyon sa mga balitang basketball na yan, makasama natin ngayon ang ilang PBA head coaches. Joining us right now are PBA head coaches Yang Yang of the NLEX Road Warriors, Louis Alas of the Phoenix Pulse Fuel Masters, Jeffrey Carriazo of the Alaska Aces, and Coach Norman Black of the Meralco Bulls. Welcome po sa PTV Sports. Good afternoon, coaches.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone.
Bago po tayo mag-umpisa, how are you doing now and what are you up to the last 2 months of the community quarantine? Let's start with Coach Yang.
Well, mostly just staying at home, doing some housework. I've been an expert in doing the vacuuming in the house. Also, playing with our dogs, watching a lot of Netflix and YouTube. Every now and then we go out and do some groceries, but that's all we do when we go out. Trying to read some books, although it's really difficult to finish some of the books, but at least I try to read some books. I try to watch a lot of tutorials, games, and just keeping myself busy.
How about Coach Louis Alas? What have you been doing for this past community quarantine?
Ako Ngayon, medyo ang dami kong natutunan pa. So, tawag nga sa akin mga anak ko, Master Chef. Then, lots of Netflix. Then, siguro once or twice a week, groceries for marketing. Then, yun, sumasama ako once in a while sa circuit training ng mga anak ko. Alam mo naman, 4 yung kids ko na puro lalaki. And medyo yun yung isang positive na nangyari during this quarantine. Ito talaga 2 months kami. Nasa isang bahay lang, staying at home. Movie marathon, saka yun, yung second month nagkaroon na kami ng program which is yung workout na nga sa bahay.
Coach, that's nice, no? Na at least you work out with your family. How about kay Coach Jeffrey po?
Hi, good evening, Meg. It's the same as the other coaches. I think I've improved my skills also in the kitchen. So medyo nadagdagan ng recipe that we know how to cook. So aside from that, it's really just, spend time. I mean, we're spending time with the family, and we're expecting another baby, so it's nice to be home with my wife, and as my 2-year-old is growing up, really spending time with him also. So family time, quality time.
That's nice, family time for Coach Jeff. How about Coach Norman Black?
Very similar to the other coaches. Basically, I have a movie date night with my wife every night. I don't do any cooking, so I can't claim to be a master cook, but I have become very good at cutting bushes and gardening. So just like the other coaches, my wife is putting me to good use around the house. The only time I really get to go out is basically to take her to the supermarket to buy food. And other than that, I've just been working out, trying to stay in shape.
Wow. Coach Norman, it's so unexpected that you're into gardening.
Well, I wasn't before the pandemic, believe me. But now I am. I'm forced.
All right, first question are about the PBA itself po. Una po is, if things go well, the PBA, as per PBA Commissioner Willie Marshall, is looking to resume games in September. As coaches, what are your thoughts on this? And what would be the telltale sign for you na okay na po bumalik? Coach Norman.
Well, I think the most important thing is to get the okay from the government. I think we should trust the science because the pandemic has really wreaked havoc on almost everybody, and there's been a lot of deaths because of it. So we really have to listen to the science and make sure we keep each other safe as much as possible. I know that during a basketball game, it's almost impossible to do social distancing. So I'm not sure how we're going to get back on the court with the fans yet. So that's really something I would like to see how they're going to handle that. But at the same time, I'm hoping the government will soon allow us to go back to practice because our guys have been out for 9 weeks now. And while they are doing work at home and we're trying to keep them in the best shape possible through video and communications, at the same time, it would be nice to see them back on the basketball court again.
How about for Coach Jeff?
Well, I think the number one thing is, again, for safety, safety of the players, safety of the team. We all are excited to get back on the court. I think that's a given. I believe soon we will be able to get there, but until we form the committees needed, I think, to make this possible, it's going to really go down to a lot of details and planning. So I think we can do it. Of course we can do it. It's just going to take a lot of special planning. So things like, avoiding other people while we're practicing. Are we going to be allowed to go home? Will the games be only in one venue? Things like that. And it's a different normal. So, but it's possible, I think. But I think the planning has to be very detailed and very specific.
Coach Louie, your thoughts?
First, we're very, very excited na makabalik na ulit. But first and foremost, safety muna. So, kung babalik kami ng practices, lahat ng teams, I guess, nabasa ko yung proposal ni Assistant Coach Del Rosario. It's very, very comprehensive, but tama-tama yon. Pero sa nakikita ko, itong last 3 days, almost, nag-average ulit ng 300 yung cases ng COVID. So, I don't know. Kasi, before that, less than 200 na lang. Now, kung babalik tayo sa practice, then babalik tayo sa game, kung closed door or not, kung limited lang, it's okay with me. But we need to follow kung ano yung parameters, kung ano yung gustong mangyari ng ating DOH, IA, saka yung interagency. So sa akin, gustong-gusto kong makabalik na. But first and foremost, safety.
How about Coach Yang?
Yes, actually, there are only 2 options. Dalawa lang naman ang pwede nating gawin. Number 1, stay home and just wait. Probably wait till things get better or wait till we get a vaccine. And the problem with getting a vaccine is that's probably by the end of the year or early next year. Nobody can say. So if you're going to wait for a vaccine, that's really really uncertain. The other thing is plan out some things and establish some protocols so that at least we can go back to practice gradually, even if it's individuals. Actually, we already set up a plan. With NLEX, we already made the proposal. We are writing the government. We are sending letters to the IATF. We are sending letters to the DOH. And we already made our proposals in those letters. And The protocols we adopted are supported by our doctors, supported by experts we feel been able to make some contributions, no. So I think the best thing for us to do right now is try to gradually and safely do some practicing, even if it's just for small groups or individuals. Actually, dun sa proposal namin, isa-isang tao lang magpa-practice. We just give each player 1 hour, no? And then the next hour, another player comes in. The next hour, another player comes in. So tagi-isang oras lang sila, no? And alternate days lang muna. Just to be safe, so that they don't get in contact with each other, and minimal contact. Our venue is exclusively for us. No, we have our venue for the whole day. So that means there are no other people using our venue, our practice venue. So we all did all of these things, no? But at the end of the day, that's going to have to be approved by the officials, no? So I think ganun muna, start muna. If we are going to talk about the league itself, how the league is going to run, if we're going to play in one place, if we're going to have no audience, I think that can be discussed later on. But the first thing is we have to move, and we cannot just stay in our houses and become irrelevant. Of course, sabi ko nga, kailangan safe ka pa rin. But I think everybody's itching to get out, and I keep listening to CNN, I keep listening to all the other news stations, and what they're saying is without the vaccine, the best way to defeat the virus is by behavior. You have to change your behavior. You have to minimize contact, minimize getting people or letting people into your own bubble, no? Sa ngayon, yung families natin, knock on wood, we're still safe, we're not sick. That means we are able to preserve and maintain the integrity of that bubble, no? Now, when we come and gradually join other people, kailangan yung ibang tao are also preserving their own bubble so we can protect each other. So it's really just from now until the vaccine comes, it's really behavioral. We have to change our behavior and try to defeat the virus with behavior, a change of behavior.
Mm-hmm. Sa tagal po ng lockdown, I'm sure madalas mag-reach out sa inyo yung mga players. Sa experience niyo po, what are your players' struggles during this community period, and how did you help them, Coach Norman?
Well, I think the major concerns we have with our players, obviously, is that their ability to stay in condition while they're at home. And some have different situations. I have some players who are living in villages where they can actually get out and run around and jog around and get out and do some running. And some of them have maybe a little basketball court in their driveway where they can get up shots during the day. That would be one extreme. Some of them have some type of equipment in their house. They have treadmills where they can do some jogging on the treadmill, or they have cross trainers where they can use that within their homes. But others live in condos. They live in condominiums where it's a lot more strict as far as what they will allow and what they won't allow. I have some players who are running the steps, the emergency steps of the condo to stay in shape. I have other guys who are down in the parking lots, running around in the parking lots to try to stay safe. So, it all differs. What we try to do is this. We try to, one, stay in touch with the players consistently. We have stayed in touch with them throughout this entire pandemic to make sure they understand that we're still supporting them, even though we're separated right now, to make them understand that we're on top of their conditioning as much as we can from a distance. We encourage them to keep their weight pretty much the same as it was when we stopped playing, because it'll be a lot easier for them to get back in shape when they come back if they can just maintain their weight as much as they can. And at the same time, we have our trainers give them programs that they can use while they're at home, depending on their situation, depending on where they live, and how much they can get out of the house. And of course, we asked them to just videotape those sessions that they have at home and send them back to the trainers so they can send them to me to make sure that we know exactly what the players are doing during this break. I'm just happy that we seem to be getting a little bit closer to getting back to work. No matter what the players are doing at home, it cannot compare to what we do in practice. I think all of us were very excited in going into this year. We actually played against Coach Yang's team during the preseason. We played against Coach Jeff's team during the preseason and Coach Louis' team during the preseason. Those are 3 teams we played against. And I know that all 3 coaches are really excited about getting back also. But it's going to take a while. We're going to have to get these guys back in shape without hurting them. We don't want anybody getting injured because they've been out for 9 weeks now. We're going to have to get them in shape and in preparation for the next season.
How about Coach Louis po? What are the struggles of your players? And how do you help them?
Actually, yung first 2 weeks lang talagang struggle. Wala kayong communication. Ang communication lang yun, yung Viber group namin. But on the 3rd week, I spoke with my manager, kay Manager Bugia, and he scheduled, ito talagang gamit na gamit namin yung Zoom eh. So after that, nag-set up na kami ng mga Zoom workout, which is mga twice a week. Then I told him na magkaroon din kami ng Zoom meeting siguro once a month or twice a month, just to keep in touch lang kasi mahirap na mahirap. First time itong nangyari sa lahat sa atin. Now, yung sinasabi ng mga kasama kong coaches dito na kailangan talagang lumabas kami, kailangan namin yan para ma-feel din naman natin yung parang normal na pakiramdam. That's why nga sabi ko, ang sinasuggest ko kahit ano lang, kahit kung magkaroon ng individual practice or siguro small group, 2 to 3. Ang malaking problema naman dito sa ibang teams like us, we're practicing in a upper deck. Pag inopen ng upper deck yung facility nila, ang dami dito, may volleyball, may badminton, so hindi makokontrol. So yun yung malaking problema sa mga teams sa katulad namin like Alaska. Medyo may kasama rin silang team. May kasama rin silang mga teams doon. So magkakaroon ng mass meeting din doon eh. So now going back doon sa sinasabi ko nga na gustong-gusto ko rin magkaroon kahit ng closed door. Kasi hindi lang para sa team natin yan, sa mga team ng PBA. Para din sa mga sa mga basketball aficionado na makaramdam sila ng normality feeling. Na kahit hindi sila nanonood sa venue, may makikita sila na hindi puro replay, makikita nila sa TV. Now, hindi naman natin gagawin yung closed door na yun kung hindi kami safe. Like, sabi nga, lahat kami, siguro magka-quarantine, lahat ng miyembro ng team, isang lalaruan, but yung effect nito para sa sambayan ng Pilipino na talaga namang sumusubaybay sa PBA, parang normal na sa kanila yung pakiramdam nila. At makaramdam ka ng normalcy ngayong mga panahon to, napakalaking bagay. Kasi makikita nila live yung PBA. So, ibang-iba yun. Kaya sa ako, halos napanood ko na lahat ng replay sa Signal, sa Channel 5. Lahat ng replay na panood ko na basketball. So, hindi normal yung pakiramdam mo. So, team na ngayon sinabi ni Coach, meron na silang program para gawin yung mga safety precautions. Lahat ng teams naman gagawin yan eh. But, kailangan maumpisa natin step by step, individually, then by group.
Right. About Coach Yang?
Well, halos ganun din, pare-pareho naman yung mga yung mga more or less yung structure ng mga plano namin. Ganun din, no. Actually, our team meets regularly sa Zoom. I think we've had 2 or 3 Zoom meetings already as a team, no, just talking about anything, no, sa Zoom, no. And also we've been trying to keep the guys in shape Our trainers have given them programs to follow, exactly like what others have been doing. No? But the problem with that is, sabi nga ni Coach Norman, nothing is going to come close to a real practice. No? Practicing in a gym, lifting your weights, having the complete equipment, playing in a real basketball court. Wala talagang, hindi mo talaga masasubstitute yung ganun. Eh. The other thing is, when you're at home, kamukha nga nung sinasabi ni Coach Louie, you're going to eat more and do less. No? You're eating more, you're going to gain weight. No? And that's really a problem. No? Nowadays, even if you can't eat out, ang dami namang delivery ngayon. Lahat puro delivery eh, no? So, tapos yung mga magagaling magluto, kamukha ni Coach Louie, eh talagang mapapakain mo yung mga players mo ng lalo yung mga asawa ng mga players magagaling magluto, no? And what's happening now is everybody keeps sending you food, no? If they cook, they send you food through yung mga Lala Move yan o kaya ano ba yan, yung Grab food yan, they keep sending you food. So what do you do, no? So we can't last this way. No? We have to find a way to get out and make use of that extra energy, no? Ang sinasabi ko nga, we have to find ways to change our behavior, because everybody's going to change their behavior, and that's the way really to go about this. Also, I might add, sa Germany nag-umpisa na yung Bundesliga. That's their football league, no? And the way the teams practiced before that was really the way I was suggesting, no, to our team and to our group, no. They tried to maintain their bubble. But even doing so, there were 2 German players who still got the virus. There's still always a risk. Meron paling risk, no? But they were able to push through the league, but without an audience, no? But so far, there's only been 2 players who got the virus, no? And what's important is we protect the vulnerable sector, no, of our personnel, no? Like, kung magbabalik man kami sa practice, people who have diabetes or people who are overweight or people who are obese within our team, the people who are too old or are not healthy, we don't ask them to come to practice. No? So that's one of the protocol that is within within the proposal, no, that we put in our letters. And a lot more, no? I'm sure all the other teams are going to do that, because ang importante lang dito, meron lang 1 o 2 teams na magawa ng tama, susunod na lang lahat eh. Kasi imo-model mo na lang, you don't have to reinvent anything, no? Just look for a good model and then all of us can just follow that. And if it's working, then that's good for us. Then in the meantime, we can talk about putting together yung format ng liga or the process wherein which we will play. I have a good feeling we can do that maybe in September, probably August or September. I still feel that by August or September things are going to change for the better. So I still feel we can save at least, no, the All Filipino or one conference for this season.
Mm-hmm. Right. How about Coach Jeff?
Yeah, first I'd like to say I agree with Coach Yang about the getting bigger and fatter. I feel like nagagalit na yung ref ko sa akin eh. Every 10 minutes, bukas ng ref eh. Kaya nagagalit na yung ref sa But not really a lot of issues. I thank God. I think we're blessed. That we are safe at home. So that's the number one thing I always remind the guys is be happy that we're safe at home. Yung boredom, kaya natin yan. Walang problema yung boredom. But the only maybe minor issues, I have a few guys who are Phil-Americans who whose families are in the States. So they're not married yet, so they're single here, and their parents and all their loved ones are in the States. So my only minor issue was a couple guys were deciding whether or not they will go home or stay. So you know, but you know, you can't blame them. You know, the parents are asking them to come home because they're reading everything and watching CNN, and it's saying there, you know, all U.S. citizens come home. So there you know, there's a couple instances where a couple guys on the team were being pressured a little bit, but again, nothing really major. Again, we all have the same program, keeping, you know, we're staying together in Zoom, we're working out, and we're trying not to gain weight. So that's the goal.
Coaches, in the 2 months that we don't have basketball, are there any positive effects po ba of the community quarantine on your players and mother ball clubs? Let's start with Coach Jeff.
I think the number one thing for me is for the players who are recovering from an injury, they're going to be able to rest up and rehab. So, you know, this is perfect for those guys who are feeling aches and pains here, guys who may have an injury that will cause them to be out for, you know, a month or two, and guys who've just been playing a lot of minutes. I think the one positive thing is they're able to rest, they're able to recover, and then, you know, still have time to get back on track and build up their stamina again, build up their condition in preparation for, you know, hopefully one conference this year.
How about Coach Norman Black?
I agree with Coach Jeff. Teams like San Miguel, or those teams that consistently make it to the Final Four or to the semifinals, finally their players have a chance to rest up a little bit and get more refreshed going forward. In our case, we had two players who had serious injuries. One was Raymond Almazan, who came down with a knee injury in Game 3 of the championship series against Ginebra last conference. And he was not really due to come back in this All-Filipino at all. At least he wasn't due to come back into the very end of it. And we would have had to make it to the playoffs for him to have played. So he's practically back to 100% at this point, even though he hasn't been able to practice. His injury has healed. So that's good for us going forward. We also have Noy Baclao, who used to be with Alaska, but is with the Meralco Bolts now, and he should be 100% in about a month. So by the time we get back to practice, we would have at least brought back two key players for us in the front court that can help us moving forward, particularly in the All-Filipino, because they had a chance to have their injuries heal. In addition to that, I really feel if you look at not just the coaches, but also the players, you know, this pandemic has probably brought the families a lot closer together because we're with each other 24 hours a day, and you can't really go out of the house. So you really get a lot closer to your wife, to your kids, because you're constantly interacting with them the entire day. Like I said earlier, I have a date night with my wife every night, watching movies, watching Netflix and other movies every night. So in a way, in a strange way, the pandemic has probably brought the families a lot closer.
Mm-hmm. Coach Yang.
Well, I totally agree, no, with both Coach Norman and Coach Jeff. I think si Coach Louie may marami ring sasabihin yan later, no. But to me, I guess, I mean, I told the players in one Zoom meeting that we had, no, that I think the best lesson for us at this point to learn and understand is we should all just be grateful and thankful. First is that we're all safe. Number two is a lot of people are hungry. A lot of people lost their work. A lot of people lost their sources of income. But for them, they're still receiving their salaries. They're very comfortable in their homes, in their condos, or wherever they are. They eat a lot of food. They're able to take care of their needs. So that's really a lot of things to be grateful for. I think for that alone, they should just be able to feel that blessing and be able to extend that and be able to be generous to others, help out, find people who are in need. You don't need to put it in I mean, for the public to know what you're doing. I really appreciate what Coach Jeff did, which is try to get resources together and give them to those people who are in need. But sometimes you just have to do that to your neighbor. Sometimes you just have to do that to a relative who's in need or to a friend who's in need. And that's the way we'll get through this. No? That's really the best way to help each other out. And look around. There's a lot of people needing your help. You're so lucky. No? We are all so lucky to be where we are. So aside from the basketball aspect, aside from getting all the rest and being able to recover, I think that's a really good lesson to learn here. No? Let's stay together, look out for each other, and be thankful that you're blessed as you are.
Finally, Coach Louie.
First, agree ako kay Coach Norman sa Coach Jeff because dalawang big man ko coming off surgery, si Jake Pascual and Dave Marcelo. So best time for them to heal their injuries. Then gusto ko rin i-continue yung sinabi ni Coach Cheng na ang daming mga tao na because of this pandemic, no work, no pay. At yan yung pinaliwanag na Manager Bugia sa mga players namin na we're very fortunate, we're very lucky. Hindi tayo nagtatrabaho pero tuloy-tuloy yung salary nyo. That's why easily 2 months kaming 2 months na kusang loob lang na yung mga gusto sa inyo mag-donate nung first month na kung gusto nyo, sabihin nyo lang 5 pesos, 10 pesos, kung anong mula sa puso nyo na gagamitin natin sa pagbili ng PPE, pagbili ng food, then magbibigay tayo sa mga frontliners. Nagulat kami sa outcome, ang laki nung nakuha namin. So sila na nagsabi na salary deduction. On the second month, yung captain ball namin si RJ, lumapit pa siya kay Manager Bugia na, boss, pwede uli kaming mag-donate. So yun yung mga bagay na impart natin na we're very, very lucky tayong mga nasa basketball community na talagang ang daming mga tao na nagugutom ngayon. And at pinaka-importante, ito yung pinakamahabang pagkakataon na ako, buong pamilya ko, magkakasama. Biro mo straight 2 months, talagang lahat kami iisa yung ginagawa namin, movies, gardening, lahat. Nandito lang kami sa bahay. Dati nga, lang kami, magkakahawig. Ngayon, parang kambal na kami, magkakamukha na kami lahat because of this. Pero, pagkatapos nitong kailan ba yung nag-modified na, siyempre, like si Kevin, pumunta agad sa condo kasi nag-aasikaso rin niya ng event niya for this year. Then I just told him, ngayon lang, sabi ko sa kanya, Kevs, 3 days na to, tumataas na naman yung cases ng COVID. Good thing, sabi niya, Dad, nasa condo lang naman kami. Hindi kami lumalabas. May mga transaction lang kasi na kailangan nandito ako. But, hindi kami lumalabas because alam namin, natatakot kami dyan kasi sabi nga ni Coach Cheng, yung behavior natin, yun ang dapat nating alagaan. Kasi, pinaka-importante, first and foremost, yung behavior ng isa't isa.